And then he said, well, not too long ago, he had bought another air conditioner for whatever reason. It was just a good deal. He bought it. And he just said, here, I got this air conditioner. He gave it to me. Bought a bigger air conditioner. And then he said,
That sounds good. So they want to hear it like that. That's how they want to hear it, nice and clear. And
yeah, yeah. Well, we had some practice. We'll do it again. And this time, you're more in tune because one, you've had some experience with what happens when you don't do it, okay, and you've actually had a chance to read over the material a whole lot more so this time, right? More so than before, and it's nothing's perfect, but it's a move in a direction designed to improve our families and communities. That's a main focus. You know what I would like to, if possible, um, let people pay $20 a month. No, let them pay a certain amount. It could be $50 to be put on our list of people to uh, match up for relationships.
okay,
Okay.
yeah, we can do that.
And let's say it's $50 a year. I don't know. It could be $50 a year, $60 a year, $50 a year. And you are on the list of matchups. And we're gonna put you in three categories: either great looking, average looking, or below average looking.
Hold on, let me put that's gonna be a topic we'll talk about.
Of course, you and I are on the great, above average looking, of course, because we're gonna be the judges. That's a joke. Okay, but we're gonna put you in those categories, and because if you're above average looking person, you and well, if you are a below average looking person, why fool yourself and waste your time trying to go after some above average looking person?
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. We should have set it up so that we both sitting across like that so we can both look over at the same time.
I can see it.
Huh?
I'm standing right here. If I would have did that way, then I would have seen you on TV. So
Oh,
this way, I can see it from right here what you're looking at.
okay. Okay, you see the
Yeah,
same thing I'm
yeah.
seeing. Gotcha. Okay. Man, that's nice. But yeah, we could put them on the list. $50 sound like that's too much for you? 50 per year. We could do matchmaking. And what's good about this is we don't lose people for a long time because we're asking them to not make a exclusive commitment for a minimum 2 years. So they're still single for a whole 2 years, hopefully.
Having fun, huh?
Yeah, we can't force them to do it, but that's the suggestion. Stay single for a couple of years, and then make your decision after you've known somebody for a couple of years, or several people for a couple of years. So now you, out of maybe three or four people who you've been dating for 2 years, you can pick the best out of those.
Right. You don't say I dated. I'll say all the men are bad because you ain't dated all the men, but you can say the men I dated were bad, but I like this guy out of all these men.
Say it again.
Instead of them saying all y'all the same, but you only dated 10, so the 9 out of the 10 you dated was not good for you, but you found 1 out of the 10. Be happy with that.
Right, right. But we're gonna say, along with the rules, as you know, one of the rules was As a woman, you control the intimacy matter. And as the man, you control the commitment matter. So after a couple of years, you're looking at these guys who you've been dating, and maybe one of them might want to ask you for a commitment. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But as a woman, you're saying, I'm controlling the intimacy part the whole time. Mm-hmm. All the time. I'm always controlling intimacy. Mm-hmm. But we know we have the suggestions in Rule 3. The first 6 months, hand holding. The next 6 months.
So nothing within the first 6 months. No touchy, no
hand holding.
That's all.
Yeah, that's just a suggestion. People are gonna do what they want to do. People are gonna do what they want to do.
Right.
But that's just a suggestion. Hand holding. Next 6 months, church hug. The next 6 months, kiss. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. But you've been with this person for a year. Mm-hmm. Next 6 months, the cuddle. Now that's a lot too. By the time a woman lets you cuddle with her, she really wants you to ask her to marry her. Okay. Now, isn't that different than what we got now? What do we have now? Within a week or two, you're supposed to be practically humping after a week or two, right?
Pretty much. I'm looking at a week.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. See, but this thing we're talking about, you get to know somebody, but we talking about going Dutch too now. That's a little bit different too. We talking about going Dutch. So you're not paying for all the dates. You're not paying for everything. She's paying for it too. All right. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to feel like, well, man, I paid for all this. I got to get me some. You ain't got to feel that way.
Go get you some.
Huh?
Go get you some from somebody else,
Yeah. So
this is what they saying now. So
have we started already?
Pretty much.
I didn't know that.
We're gonna officially start. I'm gonna share this to Facebook, and it's gonna be called Break the Cycle.
Okay, I didn't know we had started, but hey, I'm genuine anyway. It doesn't matter. It didn't even matter. I say the same thing on screen as I do off screen most of the time. People don't normally get mad at me until I get into Rule 11, and that's not even on there. I'm talking. You know what Rule 11 is, don't you? Mm-hmm. You know what it is. Because you asked me to bring it up once or twice in advance. But I said, no, we're not talking about that one. Okay. See, there's only 10 rules.
Okay.
Rule 11. You know what Rule 11 is.
Oh, you said Rule 11.
Yeah. There is no Rule 11.
Okay.
But you know what it is.
Like Rule 11, like R-U-D-E.
You know what it is, though. But I'll tell you. I'll tell you. You know what it is? You know what it is.
No, I don't. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's not really a hard rule, but
I got you.
I think it's something that would make sense to a lot of people.
I got you. So we are here. First of all, allow me to give honor and praises and thanks to every element that has made this a possibility. Let me check the levels to make sure we are good and ready to go. It looks like we are doing good. So I am here with a great friend of mine. We've been friends for about a year now, right?
At least, yeah.
At least a year?
At least.
So those of you who are listening, you all can actually go to our Zoom. You can zoom in. You can go to YouTube, Facebook, and you can follow our podcast. We are the Rahm Foundation. The Rahm Foundation is a non-for-profit that specializes in information. Our goal is to share as much knowledge as we possibly can that can better families, people, individual communities, And I feel that if you apply what you learn from the foundation, then you'll be able to go anywhere in the planet and make it work for you. And you won't have to say, I need to move because I got a problem. So again, the foundation. You can look us up at www.therahmfoundation.com. If you also, we're going to have a segment on what the Rahm Foundation is. But today I'm here with a friend of mine, Mr. Eric Prince. He's an author. He's a insurance specialist. He is a father. He's a friend. He's a brother. And he wrote a book, a couple of books, Break the Cycle, Inc., Building Stronger Communities by Building Stronger Families, which is important. Today we're going through so much. The world is pretty much turned upside down. We got our leaders acting crazy. We got the children acting crazy. So this podcast, this Break the Cycle Inc. is to help that. So I'm here with Eric Prince. I'm not going to hold him up any longer. He came from a long way. But share with everybody, who are you and why you feel this is so important?
Well, we always talk about the cycle of broken families in our communities. The cycle of people starting off families and those families just fall apart. And then you have the fathers who are not part of the family in many cases. Sometimes they're pushed out, sometimes they're not. We have mothers who have to do it all by themselves. That double burden, that being the mother and having to take care of the father's responsibilities. They're oppressed. They're not trusted because most guys don't want to fall into the situation of having to pay child support or being pushed away from their children. Then you have the children who don't get to be around their fathers very often or their mothers, because the mothers have to work several jobs just to make it, just to get by.
Mm-hmm.
The fathers not being a part of their household are not there as often as they would like them to be, and they have their lives too apart from their children because of the breakup. So it's not easy on all three members of the family, and would break the cycle. I don't talk about all the problems very much or very long about how they became problems. This is one of the few shows where we're going to talk about how to solve the problems.
Okay.
We're going to concentrate more on that than anything else. The last time we did the podcast, Tavon wanted me to talk more in depth about the problems. And so this being our first show, I'm remembering that and I'm respecting that. Some of the problems that come about are children not getting the balance that they should get from both parents. And they go into the schools and cause disruptions there because of that. And instead of that school teacher having 25 students and only 2 or 3 of them are out of control, they may have that same 25 students and 8 of them are out of control. You might say, well, that's still 17 that are under control. The problem is that 8 out of 25 is enough to disrupt the learning for all 25 students.
So pretty much bad apples can spoil the whole bunch.
It's too many.
Too many.
Yeah, 8 out of 25 is too many.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's enough to disrupt the whole educational progress of everybody in that classroom and the school. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be a majority. The majority is still great. But 8 out of 25 is too many. So, and that goes back to the family. Our businesses are not surviving. We have too many people who are heading the families who are just trying to get by. So, or they are caught up on labels, and they want to go to places that are not in the same neighborhood, and the neighborhood business suffers. And we have a lot of that going on. And the neighborhood businesses, the convenience stores, they're not the right place to go for all your shopping anyway. I mean, I think most people know that their prices have to be high. That's the reason they call them convenience stores. But they're not going to get they're not going to get the support that they need with the broken families the way they are.
So okay, so broken families, and I want to take it to the beginning because I feel like I want to capture every moment and every step so that we won't miss it again. So let's take it to the beginning. So let's start by, what do you think are the roles of an individual? Because I think that's still not clear on the role of a man, the role of a woman, and children. So let's start with the man. What is the role of a man in the household?
Okay. Now we're like in rule 5 or something, or 6, which is fine.
Okay.
I want to touch on that.
Okay.
The role of the man in the household is to be the primary leader of the household. Make sure that everything is in place, and the whole household is going in the right direction. As far as spending, as far as uh, saving, as far as, so just make sure everything, and also to make sure that the household feels protected, that they're not scared of the people on the outside. So
what do you mean by spending?
Yeah, spending.
Like money spending.
Yeah.
So you're saying the man's job is to spend the money?
No. His job is to make sure that everything is in place. In fact, the man's job would be to set the budget for the spending, and to set the pattern for the spending. He might be the one to go out there and do the spending first, but then the person who's going to take control of the spending most of the time in the household is going to be the wife. The woman in the house. She's gonna, I've said this a number of times, that the man rules the rules and the woman rules the house. When the woman rules both the rules and the house, the man doesn't have any place. Because how is it that she's going to already rule the house and the children, and he doesn't have any say on the rules of the house?
But he have to bring the money in.
Well, they both have to bring money in. I mean, either one of them could bring money in. Money is just one of those things. I mean, it doesn't matter if he makes the most money or if she makes the most money. Money, that household needs money, period.
So yeah, you're right. But a lot of people believe that when a woman moves into a man's house, the man solely has to do the work and bring the money in.
No, okay. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It's sort of like if you tell the man he's the leader of the house, he's sort of like the pastor of the church, right?
Okay.
He's sort of like the CEO of the corporation, right? Mm-hmm. He's sort of like the principal of the school, right?
Okay.
Okay, now, so he's like them, right? We all agree with that.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We agree.
Do we agree on that?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so does the pastor of the church, is he the one who goes out there and hustles to make sure that the church is running? Is he the one who goes out there and makes all the money for the church and makes and pays all the bills for the church? Is he the one that does that, or does the congregation kind of make sure that they do all that?
The congregation does.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that's the first analogy. Okay, how about the CEO of the house?
Mhm.
Is he the one who busts his butt to make sure that all the everything's getting done? That is he the one who brings in all the money? Is that what happens with the CEO of the house? I mean, of the corporation,
Mm-mm.
or does he have his corporation, the people under him, go out there and work their butts off to make sure that everything's done right, and he's the leader? Okay.
Mhm.
Principal of a school, is he the one who goes through and makes sure that every child has everything that they need, that every child um, has their lunch here? Is the principal of the school, he or she, the one who works the hardest?
Mhm. Now I hear what you're saying. Now, if the money, if it doesn't work, now the congregation, you saying bring the money in, which that's cool. But if it doesn't work, it's on the head of the household for not being able to bring the money in.
Right. Well, he has that's the whole purpose.
Okay.
Even like the president of the United States, he's not going to be the one who pays all the taxes and all that kind of stuff.
He just manage it.
He's the manager.
Okay.
He's the manager. We have to know what manager is. Okay. And the man of the house generally is the manager of the house.
Mhm.
But he's not the one who's responsible for uh, bringing in all the money, because then he can't be the manager in that case. He's too busy hustling. Have you seen somebody work their butt off, and then they don't get a chance to enjoy anything that they do. They don't get a chance, and they don't even get a chance to manage it.
Mhm.
Why? Because they're worn out. Okay. So that whole concept of the man being the provider, that's killing our communities.
So what if the man, because management is a skill, I believe. Everybody can't manage.
Right.
So what if the man can't manage, but the
Okay.
woman can manage? So
Okay.
then what happens?
Okay, good. Between the two of them, because you normally have your default situation. The default situation
Is the man?
is the man.
I got
That's
you.
just the default. Okay. And how many times do we have a default situation that's not working? You customize it to do what you have to do to
Mhm.
change it.
Mhm.
If the man is not the best manager of that household and the woman is, okay, I think it's you know what you have to do. You
So
have to
now,
switch. You have to switch roles.
so if we switch roles, then that means how would the man feel? The man. So if they switch roles, then that means that the man's character also has to change a bit, which means his mindset would change. Now here it is, the man got to be a woman, not a woman in the essence, but still somebody got to be at home or somebody got to be out working the money. So then how would
Okay.
that affect the
Okay.
mindset?
Okay. And like I said, we're on rule one like rule 5 or
Five. I
6 or
got you.
something
I
like that.
got you. I
Okay,
got
which
you.
was fine. The no, that doesn't change anything else.
I got you.
He's still a man.
So let's do this. I don't want to because I don't want to jump. Because we have five. So
Okay.
again, those of you who are listening, this is the Rahm Foundation. We are a non-for-profit that is aims to just facilitate information to the unfortunate communities that cannot receive information. We hope that you use the information wisely. We're not doctors, we're not lawyers, we're not psychiatrists. We are experienced individuals who have been experienced through experiment
through just learning,
through
just
learning.
learning and
So,
experience.
so I'm here with Mr.
Prince.
Eric Prince. He's an author of a
The first book is called Break the Cycle. The second book is called The 10 Relationship Rules for Family Power. You can see on the screen they can see that, right?
They can see this. Yep.
Yeah, they can see on the screen the actual title of the book, and I've made it easier for people. You don't even have to buy the book. The main points, it'd be good if you did, of course,
Right.
but
Yeah.
the main points are on the screen, and it's free at www.breakthecycle2003.vpweb.com. You can see the email address there too.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll make
But
sure they get that. I'll make sure they get that at the
okay.
bottom. Uh, what we're going to do is I want to go through. He has 10 rules that he believes, Eric believes, that is uh, essential to the building of family power and also able to break the cycles. So we're going to take a little minute and go through a few of them. We're going to start with one. Those of you out who have questions, you definitely can inbox your questions. I'll make sure that he get to answer them. But another thing I want to bring out, you might wondering why you don't see him. So we've learned that people, before they consume, they want to see how things look. They want to, if it don't look like the way they expect it to look, then they won't listen to it. So this is not about the main image. It's not about what they call it, the brands. It's not about that. It's not about you wearing a Nike sign or whatever kind of logo. This is about information. It's about what's right. It's about proper information used accordingly. So Mr. Eric has this book, and you can look online to see it. We're going to start with the first rule. Rule number one.
Before you go into that, I do just wanted to say, people claim to believe in the Bible. They claim to be Christians, Muslims, or whatever, and they claim to follow it. But one of the first 10 commandments is, "Thou shalt not make any graven images of me."
Mhm.
So I'm not trying to say that I'm any god or anything, but there's a reason for that. People get too caught up on images,
Right.
and once the the enemy or the devil knows what images you respond to, then they'll come up with those images too. You respond to that image that they say of Jesus. Well, they'll find something that looks like that
Mhm.
and say what they want to say,
Right, right.
and you caught up on the image. You can have that with certain actors. You like that particular image, and you don't realize that the people who are writing for that actor and producing for that actor may not look like that actor at all.
At all.
Could be somebody completely different.
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, exactly. So you caught up on the image, and you could be just taken by that particular image. I'm a sales rep, and you've been a sales rep for a long time. Um, we know that if you present a certain image to people, you say yes sir, no sir. You talk to them a certain way, you look a certain way. Your chances of getting the sale have increased dramatically.
Right.
So I'm staying away from the image for that reason. I want you to just hear what I have to say. I want you to hear what's being said, not what it looks like. And maybe we can get through this. I believe in the word and what the word says. And when it says that, it's saying that for a reason. Like what are the first 10 of the 10 commandments? Do you remember what they were?
The first three.
Have no other God before me was one of them. Have no graven image of me.
Right, right.
All of them are about what's another of the first three?
Thou shalt
The shall not use my name in vain.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not use my name in vain, and thou shalt honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy. That was like number 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
My father gonna get me because he taught me all this stuff.
And then like number 5 was thou shalt honor thy father and thy mother.
No other gods before me. Thou shalt not make any graven images. Thou shalt not take the name of no thy God name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor thy father, and thou shalt not kill. Are the first 6.
Okay. Look at the one number of thou shalt honor thy father and thy mother. That comes before thou shalt not even kill.
Right.
Okay.
So
how important is that?
Right.
Is that now, are we honoring our fathers and our mothers? I don't think so. We are following behind some general rules that saying that really our mothers are up here and our fathers are optional.
Mm.
Okay, so we're not following what the word says. Okay, so just getting back to that image thing, though. Thou shalt not have no other gods before me. I don't want you to get caught up on image as far as what's being said on this podcast.
Okay.
Okay, so all four of those things. So
Right. So image is out the window. Eric Prince looked like a handsome man. I mean, those sisters who were looking at him, but to each his own. But again, the first rule of the 10 relationship rules for family power. And this is important because number one, I feel like it's if you don't have number one intact, you can't get to number two. And number one starts it off.
yeah.
So you got to have the number one intact before you get to number two. So number one, prime. Explain to me prime. Give me some details on prime.
Okay, prime. It says, don't take a marital type commitment from a man seriously unless he has made a commitment to get all the prime components below. Prime is just an acronym. But the suggestion is, as a man, and we talked about this a little bit, you're saying head the household and handle the budget and all that kind of stuff. Well, you want him to get prime. The P stands for property ownership. You want him to at least know how to keep a roof over his head, and not one that he's renting, but he needs to either purchase a place to live or be in a position to purchase a place to live. Because sometimes it's not to your advantage to buy a place, but at least keep yourself in a position where you could if you wanted to, or if you needed to have that in your mind. That's important, very important. I mean, somebody going from place to place and no control over that. But one of the reasons behind that is renting. I mean, you don't have any control over that.
Right.
Your landlord can keep going up on your rent. The more money you make, the more money they can require from you. You can't adjust it like you would like to. You want to make more walls or less walls. You have to ask permission.
Right.
Okay. You can't sell it to anybody. You can't rent it to anybody. You get no profit from the sale of it. And you can't. There's no equity being built in on your behalf. None of that stuff. So property ownership is important because you have to have your own. I remember in the movie Roots and the book, both of them, when the boys came back from manhood training, somebody in their village, it may have been their father, it might have been their uncle, might have been somebody else, built him his own hut. When he came home from manhood training, the first thing his mother told him was, now that you're a man, you can't live with us. You can't live with me and the children anymore. And of course, I knew that, Mom. I knew that. And she prepared his stuff for him. So they don't just say, go out there and get it all on your own and we're not going to help you. They don't even do that.
They said today.
Yeah, I know. That's what they do today. And right now we don't even go through a manhood training.
Right.
We don't have a real manhood training. You get supposedly you're 18 and you're a man. Boom. Okay.
So you feel 18 is the age that a man should become a man at 18?
Well, I mean, sometime he has. I mean, the culture has to figure that out. And I think 18 is. I personally think that is. That's just my personal opinion.
Even though when doctors say that 25 is when the brain fully is functional, so you still think 18 is 18 to 25, you think?
Well, what I think, like getting back to this prime thing, I think you should get all these 5 things done
before they move on.
Right.
I got you.
And that could be any age.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you could get it all done at 18, that's fine, and you can.
Okay.
And you can.
So by saying that, do you think the way that I would say cultures used to do it back in the day when they what was the word? They placed their daughter or son in position at a baby's age in a position to actually take leadership when they get very young. They are leaders already.
Yeah, by the time they graduated from eighth grade, by the time they graduated from eighth grade, they were on their way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had people like Josephine Baker. Mm-hmm. By the time she graduated from 18, she was traveling. I mean, from eighth grade, she was traveling around the world doing shows. Mm-hmm. You know, and I may not be exactly accurate on that. Okay, I understand that, but just look at the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, read the book, and it's not just her, but by the time eighth grade was very important. Right. Okay, at one time, you graduated from eighth grade, you were practically a man or a woman.
What age is that?
It's only about 14, 15 years age. Okay. But you were being groomed. You know, you look at people like I read the story of like Benjamin Franklin. By the time he was 14, 15, something like that, the culture was, it wasn't just him, the culture was some family member probably would take you on as an apprentice, and you would go live with that apprentice learning the trade. Okay. And they fed you whatever, you know, while you were learning the trade, and you learned the trade. Okay. They even had that during the like when you talk about who's the guy who he had this in his ankle. If you hit his ankle or something like that, that was his
Achilles heel.
Right. Yeah. So we're talking about Achilles.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. But that was during that period of time too. Those boys went through an apprenticeship on how to be soldiers.
Right.
Okay. And so they had their when if you saw that movie with Achilles in it, I mean his cousin was trying to do everything like him. Why? Because he was his apprentice.
Right.
And his cousin is the one who had the fight. And
they thought it was him.
And they thought it was him. He did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't him. So that's how. But that was part of that culture. Mm-hmm. You know, people. If you read up on some of these, people read up on some of this, they'll see. But the culture that we have now, by the time they're eighth grade, we're not telling them that they're adults that they are mature anymore. Mm-hmm. In fact, we want to keep them as our children for another 4 years minimum. So now instead of being eighth grade graduates, we want them to be 12th grade graduates, but we don't even do that. Mm-hmm. We want them to continue another 4 years after that being a child. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're a child till you what, 22 now?
22, 23.
Yeah. When it used to be you were not being treated like a child when you were 14.
Right.
Okay. So, and our bodies were made for us. Those 14-year-old girls, 15-year-old, 16-year-old girls, they should not be just having casual relationships with any little 14, 15, 16-year-old boy, mm-hmm. because they are ready for more substantial things at that point. But what we're doing is we're matching them up with guys who are like 14, 15, 16. Come on, stick with somebody your own age. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's a 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old guy going to do with a young girl? What's mm-hmm. he going to do for her?
So you promote a woman being with someone older than her?
I promote a woman getting prime first. Okay. And
so this works for male and female, prime, number one.
Right, it works for both. Because rule 2 is very similar to rule 1.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah. But we want her to get prime and then hook up with a guy who's prime, who's like 4 to 10 years older. Mm-hmm. Chances are she's going to be 18 and over mm-hmm. before she gets prime. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we want him to not only be 18 and over, we want him to have a little bit more maturity. We want him to actually have experienced it to a point where he really knows what he's doing, and he's had some experience behind it also. Because what we're doing is we're taking an inexperienced guy and hooking him up with an inexperienced girl.
Blind leading the blind, huh?
Yes. you said
and
exactly
you wonder why they
what
both falling down the hill. They both.
Jack
you
and
don't know,
Jill.
she don't know, and they trying to figure it out together. No one helping them.
No, yeah. So you asking him to take on the responsibility. He's supposed to be taking over headship over another adult and children, and he doesn't even know how to head himself.
He ain't even got to the PA.
Yeah, exactly.
well, this P. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Oh, right. So, does that make any sense?
Okay, I got you. Okay. So prime is the step one. They need to get property ownership first of all, which takes them to step two of step
okay.
one.
So I didn't get in the rest of it. Okay.
Well, it takes them to I would say step two of part one.
No, we haven't even got to that yet.
No.
Prime by itself. Let's finish prime.
Right.
Because we didn't get into prime.
Right.
Property ownership is one.
Right.
The second one was resolve, which is resolve to learn something.
A skill like carpentry or something,
or craft. Yeah.
Okay.
I lost it for a second.
I got you.
So resolve to learn a skill or learn something. Learn it well. Master something. When I talked about Benjamin Franklin to say that he mastered something.
Right.
Okay. I talked about what's her name? Josephine Baker. She mastered something.
Even St. Louis's C.J. Madam Walker.
Yeah. Mastered
something
before you get into a relationship with someone else. Know who you are. Be proud of who you are.
Right.
Get yourself in order.
Right.
Okay. Now the I stands for having income that's dependable. Like you either have seniority on your job or a successful business. So not only the first two, but be consistent and have something that you can count on for yourself. And then the M stands for have some money saved up. If an emergency comes up or an opportunity comes up, you should not at that point still be saying, Mom, Dad, I see this emergency or I have this emergency, help me. You should be able to set yourself up to help yourself first.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with getting help, but it is something wrong with not preparing yourself to help yourself first. So that's what the M stands for. And then the E stands for education. Whatever your personal education goals are for yourself, you need to get that done for yourself. It's not for anybody else. It's not for mom or dad or uncle or aunt or anybody else approval. You get the education that you feel you need for yourself. Some people will do 8th grade. Some people will do high school. Some will do bachelor's. Some will do master's. Some will do 2 or 3 PhDs before they're satisfied with their educational accomplishments. And that's totally fine. But all we're saying is, if these are your minimum goals, or these are what we call minimum goals, just don't do any of these things. I mean, do all these things before you make a commitment to someone else or start having children. Do all these things first.
So how would a community like our community, the African-American community in general, I'm speaking to right now, go about maneuvering to achieve prime when there's a government that pretty much really is against, I'm not gonna say against, but it's hard to do this when if you're on welfare, the man has to leave the house, can't be in the house. The woman takes.
Okay, to answer that, we're talking about starting from scratch. Every child out there who's 5 or 6 years old, 4, 5, 6 years old, is starting from scratch. And we have how many of them out there? A lot of them, right? Hundreds of thousands of them. We teach them They're 4, 5, 6 years old. You adults, you got to get out there and teach them, whether it's your children or your grandchildren or your great grandchildren. You teach them to get prime. Okay? You teach them to get prime. And you teach them at a very young age, this is what you need to do in order to be a man or a woman.
I got you.
Okay?
So start when they're young.
Start when they're young. Now, you parents and grandparents teaching them that, guess what? You're learning too. Okay? If you're teaching that to them, then you need to stop doing some of the stuff that you're doing. Stop jumping into relationships that are unfruitful or may be unfruitful. Stop, getting all involved with other people until you get yourself primed. So that's how.
First time I ain't mean to cut you off, but the first time that I broke up my relationship with my first relationship, and I went to go buy a car once, and I saw this girl at the car dealer. She was good looking. I approached her. She smiled at me. Oh, you handsome and you cute. Yeah, but she said, how long have you been by yourself? And when she said that, I didn't know what she meant by saying how long I've been single. I'm thinking, okay, I'm single. I ain't got it, But now I understand pretty much she was trying to figure out in my prime, you know what I'm saying? Because she was making 6, 7 figures car sales. I'm making 2 or 3 at the time, I guess she wanted to see if I compare or was on the same level. Can I take care of her? So now I understand. I get it. You have to be prime, or you should be prime in order to move forward in any kind of relationship. Because people are going to have problems, no income, can't have a house, can't afford your girl. You don't know where you're going to go, kind of thing. So definitely have to be prime. And
I think she was trying to, just from the little bit I just heard.
Yeah.
I think she was trying to see if you was over with her too. If you were.
I wasn't.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think she was trying to find that out.
Yeah.
Sounded like she was a pretty smart person.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, she would. And I was like, okay, but still, what you're saying and what she said, it comes, you got to be prime. So is there any format that you should go in this way to get prime, or you can just choose it any way you want?
Any way you want to. As long as you I mean, if I send you on a mission, I remember a part in the movie Roots. People need to look at that, and they need to read it too.
Who is this?
The Roots, the book.
Oh, okay.
Roots, the movie. They need to look at it. When they sent the boys on manhood training to do something, they meant for them to do it.
Right.
They said he said, if you don't finish this manhood training, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be a boy the rest of the time that you around us. We're going to always consider you a boy. We don't care what your age is going to be. You're going to be a boy. You're not going to be allowed to have children. You're not going to be allowed to get married.
So
Why? Because boys don't have children.
Right.
Boys don't get married.
Right.
You are a boy. I don't care if you're 40, 50 years old. You're going to be a boy around us because you didn't make it to manhood training. Okay. And when they sent Kunta Kinte out, because I think something had happened, but he said, when he sent Kunta Kinte out, go get me a bird back live. That's what he was going to do. And when he came back without that bird live, the first thing he said, well, you want to always be a boy? You're gonna, and Kunta Kinte had already had some accomplishments before before the manhood training that were pretty astounding. That's the reason people knew who he was.
Right.
Okay. Now you won't find that out unless you read the book. Okay, but they were telling him. Of course, he came back and he had seen the white men, and they had slaves and stuff like that. But the people have to, you get all 5 of those things. I don't care what order you get them.
Okay.
You get those things before you make a commitment to somebody else. And then rule number 2, which we're not going to get into yet.
Yeah, I know, but let me just give everybody an update. And listen to Eric Prince. Eric Prince is the author of Break the Cycle, Inc. Pretty much building stronger communities by building stronger families. His whole goal is, it's simply said, stronger families. He has 10 rules that he have that he believes that is the key to breaking the cycle. I must admit, a lot of them are on point. We just went over rule one. So every Sunday, same time, 4 o'clock, you are able to hear his rules and his ideas and beliefs on how we can break the cycle. You also listen to the Rahm Foundation. We are a non-for-profit that uh, pretty much offer information to our communities. We are an information hub. You can find us on the Rahm Foundation, www.therahmfoundation.com. See what we have to offer, a lot of podcasts, information that you can use for you and your family. So before we're going to go through a little bit more because I like number two. Two is a good one. Rule number two, we're going to keep it brief because we're going to keep it, come on now. Hold on, everybody. You also can view this on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, or any platform. Look up the Rahm Foundation and you can go and review this, go back and listen to it. Take notes, have questions, email us every Sunday, 4 o'clock. The Rahm Foundation with Eric Prince. Rule two.
Rule two. I had a lot of women ask me to come up with a rule with something else. They were not totally happy with rule one. So
Why wasn't they happy with rule one?
What's that?
You said it wasn't happy with rule one?
No, they weren't. They've said that that's a little bit rough for them to try to get prime.
Why would they?
They thought
ask them where, why?
It was too much. They thought it was, with all the assets that they bring to a relationship, and they might be right. With all the assets that a woman brings to a relationship, they're going to be the primary teachers of the children in most cases. They're going to be the primary people to run the household, make sure the household is running right. They're going to be between the man, the man of the house and the children. The person in between. They're going to be the ones to make sure that other family members are okay, other households are okay. They do a lot. They really do.
Okay.
So I came up with RIPE in order to make it a little bit easier for the women to qualify for a relationship too. So this was actually an ideal that stemmed from talking to people. And at first I only had prime.
Okay.
But the ladies made me think about, okay, let's get RIPE too. RIPE it's not much different than prime, but it's just a little bit less demanding. If a man and woman are both striving to get prime, so prime is for both of them, okay? If they're both striving to get prime, and the man is prime, and the woman's just a little bit short of prime, but the timing is right for them to make a commitment to each other, then RIPE is okay. RIPE is okay versus prime for the woman only.
Oh, so this is okay.
We don't want to give the men any idea that they should do any less than prime. Okay, but for the women only, you can just be RIPE if he's prime already, and you got things in order. Now here's RIPE. Resolve. The resolve is the exact same as it is in prime. Find something that that you want to master. Resolve to master some kind of occupation or philosophy, a belief, religion, art, sport, something. Master something. Know who you are. Okay, and that's a pretty important one. Because if you don't know who you are and you're trying to mate with somebody, how can they know who you are if you don't even know who you are?
Now, insecurities affecting that of knowing who you are?
Yeah. You're insecure. You your confidence is not where it needs to be. And they don't even know who you are. You don't know who you are. And you keep changing up. Why? Because you haven't even established yourself. So resolve is important. Now, the next one is income. Seniority on the job, supervisor position on the job, or successful business. And then the women have one option that most men don't have. If you decide you're going to be a stay-at-home wife or mom, make that decision and don't let that be a surprise to your man that you two are both working and doing your things, and then you decide to become committed to each other and you want to get married, then you get married, and then all of a sudden you drop your job because you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom or wife.
He don't know nothing.
And he didn't know anything about that. That should not be a surprise, okay? Let him know up front that that is your goal.
Come home one day, baby. I'm home for good. What?
Right.
You know, he lost his job too. So
right. Exactly. Exactly. So
okay,
that's basically okay. The next one, with prime, I talk about property ownership, right? With ripe, I just say property management. At least know how to keep a roof over your head.
I got you.
At least keep a roof over your head. Know how to keep the budget and for your household. Know how to keep your household going. You know, whatever it takes, you got a household, you know how to do it on your own, and you don't need a man to do any of those things. You know, I hear women say they don't need a man, which is fine. You don't. I like strong and independent women. I think that is great for our communities. Strong and independent women, but don't play with it. Okay, if you're gonna be strong and independent, do it.
Strong and be independent.
Yeah. Okay, the next one was education. It's the same as the other one. Whatever your expectations or whatever your goals are for education, get that completed for yourself. Okay, so basically this is, it's a, you know, prime is very important. You know, if we're talking to boys and girls, they're 4, 5, 6 years old or whatever their age is, and we're talking to them, we're talking prime, right? We're just talking prime. But once they get to a certain age, they've been dating somebody, things are going well, he wants to marry you, or you want to marry him, and he's all prime and you are not necessarily prime yet, but you're all right. Because we don't want you just jumping into that either. Because if he's prime and you are not even ripe, chances are you're gonna drag him down. Okay, you're not ready, probably. And the whole purpose of it is to try to get us better suited so that we can have more stable families. Am I right?
You're right.
This whole thing. Now, I want to ask you. Okay. So that was right. We probably have some questions coming on that. But I want to. You and I talked before the podcast. Maybe we should help in this matchmaking type thing.
So
and
what
do
you're saying,
it
like have like a people that want to be matchmake with people that we selected for them.
Well, we can help them out. You know,
Okay.
People get on the list. Get on our list. They want to be matched up with some prime men, some prime or ripe women, and
I like that.
Based upon certain categories. Now, I like to joke people. Okay, so based upon if you above average fine, or if you just average, or if you whooped. I'm silly.
If you whoop, you shouldn't even. Okay. So hold on. If you whoop, you still prime if you whoop.
No, I don't want to get into whoop. That's disrespectful. Okay, but it is funny. Well, okay, above average, average, and below average.
Okay.
Let's get off from the disrespect. I mean, nobody wants to be called whooped.
Right. So these 3 categories: above average, average, and whooped. I mean, you know, below average kind of thing. So are we going to have some kind of workshop to help them all get to prime? The average people and below average?
You know what? I'm trying to keep it simple. Prime is basically, you see what's on the screen? Now, if you don't have, look at P. We're going to try to make it simple. If P is property ownership or being in a position to own property. You either are or you're not. Okay, or resolve. You either have mastered some kind of skill or you haven't.
And that's pretty natural. You should want to be like that because, once you get older, you want to be on your own. You want to take care of yourself, buy your own things.
Absolutely.
Be in your own house.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I can see that.
So either you are or you aren't. An income that's dependable, either you have a seniority position, supervisory position, or successful business, or you don't. Okay, successful business is a business where it is paying your bills for you. Okay, not just a wannabe business. Okay,
yeah,
but not a potential successful business, but a successful business. Okay, and then the other one, let's see, we talked about property ownership, resolve, income that's dependable, money saved. Either you have the 25% on that money thing. On the other one, I don't know if I mentioned the 25%.
You did.
The suggestion is 25% of your income.
Why 25%?
Saved up.
The Bible say 10%.
Well, some people will reduce it to 10. Some would reduce it to 20. Okay. Some would say 30. Some would say 50. The suggestion is still 25%. Now, some people will personally do different. Okay, it's up to you. Okay. So you can't blame anybody but you can't blame us because we're going to suggest the 25%. Okay. Now, if you just do 10% and that's what you did, and that 10% is woefully too low, who do you have to blame?
Yourself.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all you have to blame, yourself. Okay. So you either have the money saved up or you don't.
Right.
Okay. And then the education, you either have achieved that goal or you haven't.
Right.
So I don't think there's much of a workshop that really needs to be done.
Okay.
You either do it or you don't do it. You come here. If you want to be on our list, you give us satisfactory, it doesn't have to take much, proof that you're primed.
Right. You got to show there. Okay. I like that.
Okay. You show satisfactory proof that you're primed, and we'll try to match you up with some other people.
We're going to work on that.
The best thing about that is we're going to have a lot of people who are eligible, and we're going to have a lot of people versus a lot of other companies, because just because you're going out with somebody, that doesn't mean that you're exclusive or committed or anything. That doesn't mean anything. You're going out with someone, and what I suggested is at least once a month you go out with somebody, and if we suggest to you good 3 or 4 people, okay, you treat them all the same. The men are going to be in control of commitment, so women, you have to wait. We don't want you as a woman to beg or force or ultimatum or deceive a man to be committed to you. If you hit giving them good loving every day, every hour, that's on you.
Right.
That's on you. We need to stop that little game that people are playing. And if a man goes the same way, if you have a man who's spending all his money and on you and spending all his time with you and all, if you spend all that, that don't mean that you have to do anything with him.
Right.
Anything more than what you want to do, but you don't have to do anything. We haven't got to rule 3 yet, but we'll get into that. But we're just saying that gives the man some power. It gives the woman some power. Until she is suitable, which is prime, and you two have been together for a couple of years, 2 years minimum. Now you see my name is up there on that one. We try to avoid everybody going after me. There's a thin line between love and hate, right? Now I can handle somebody coming up to me. Oh, I love what you're saying, and give me a big hug, or say, "Hey, brother, I'm really proud of you," and shaking my hand. I can handle the love part, but the hate part, oh no!
So let me ask you this question.
I want to beat you. I want to jump you. I want to scratch your eyes out. No, I don't need all that.
So let me ask you this question. So Are you married?
Yes. Yeah.
How long you been married?
But I don't tell much of my personal information
I got
on
you.
social
Okay,
media.
I got you.
You know, but I am married and I have 2 children who are, one is completely grown. One is just about there. She's a sophomore in college. And, you know, my wife and I are okay. But I don't talk about my personal, but you're not married. So we can put you on the list right now.
Well, you could. I was asking because I know people in the background gonna be saying, what kind of credit does he have?
Right.
And he's not married.
Right.
So you just squashed that because you're married and you're in the relationship with children. So,
right. And that's as far
I
as
just cut
want
off half of your people coming saying, I don't like what you're saying. You know,
right.
Cut them off. So,
right.
So now we can move on. I got you.
Right. Remember, it's about the image thing too.
Right. I understand.
You know, I want to stay away from that because anybody can come up to you and they could have great credit. They could be rich. They could look good. And if you fall for that, you're going to fall for the things that they say, and that the stuff that they say may not be good for you at all.
Right. I agree with you on that. But I also believe that if people can see your wonders or your works, then that gives them more belief. Okay, then
that's true.
I can believe in that. If he can do it, then I can do it.
That's true.
So
they'll have to look at you.
No, you can't look at me.
They can see you out there.
You can't look at me. I'm still working on Prime, you know.
I'll let them look at you.
I'm looking at Prime. I mean, they can look at me, you know, this is the Rahm Foundation. So, you know, I don't mind them looking at me. But I do understand that. So what in a nutshell, what I'm taking from this right now to give to the public, those who are listening, about break the cycle and the 10 rules. So 1 and 2 rule is pretty much you have to deal with yourself. You have to learn who you are. You have to get yourself
That's
stable.
1 and 2, actually.
That's what I mean, 1 and 2.
Not just
Prime
yourself.
and right.
Not just yourself, because you have to, you know, before you make a commitment to somebody else, now you're looking at rule 2. So that really does deal with the other person. Rule 1 is dealing with you.
So and I thought right was dealing with more of a little lesser down for the sisterhood. For the females.
But if you a man, we're asking you, suggesting to you, we can't make you do anything.
Right.
Okay,
right.
But we're suggesting to you, don't ask her for a commitment until she gets prime or right. She gets prime or right.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So, you know, that's, you know, and it's not your responsibility to get her prime or right either.
Right. Okay.
That's her responsibility.
Right. Well, some women believe that my mate should help me get to that.
Well, he ain't your mate, for one. He's a potential mate.
Okay.
And no, that's your responsibility. You know, it was a time when men had more opportunities than women. Mm-hmm. You know, certain jobs were for, I mean, just look around, mail carrier jobs. That used to be the men. Okay. Factory jobs used to be, all these jobs were set aside for men. A lot of positions, principals of schools, that used to be men mostly.
So what are you saying now that?
Mostly women.
So you're saying the change now is good or?
It's good. It's all good.
Okay.
Strong and independent women, they don't have to depend on men. When the only time they want them, they get a man because they want a man, not because they need a man.
Right.
I hope the ladies agree with me on that.
And I hope the men understand that you gotta get off your ego, because now you got an independent woman,
right,
who you're gonna have to deal with.
That's right. So, independent woman who's, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now you got 2 incomes.
Yeah.
Now you got 2 smart people.
Right.
Now you have 2 devoted people.
Right.
Now, like I said, we haven't got into rules 5, 6, 7, whatever, but we'll talk about those.
Yeah. So next week, again, 4:00 Sunday here at the Rahm Foundation. You can definitely view us on any platform that's out there, or you can go to our website at therahmfoundation.com.
I didn't see your face on the screen at all.
Yeah, I'm on there. They can see me.
I've been looking at the screen. I haven't seen your face
in the corner.
Okay.
I'm in the corner, you know. I don't want to be like that in the spotlight, but I do want to be in a little light, you know.
Yeah, well, I want them to see you.
Yeah,
you know. I'm just staying out for right now.
I understand. I think, you know, I do the Milli Vanilla. You talking, I be moving. You know, well, you know, your voice. I love it. Again, everyone who's listening in, we are the Rahm Foundation. We bring out the best in you.
Are you able to edit my name and phone number off that screen?
I can, but it's already out there live. So
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
So
Okay, well, it's not gonna hurt
yeah.
anything.
But you know how many Eric Prentices is out there? So when they look at the
Yeah,
one,
but my phone number's on there.
Okay, then you know.
Yeah, well, we'll work with that. We'll work with that.
Next time, I know now. Low profile. I got you. We don't need. Look, please, sisterhood, do not take anything personal to where you want to afflict any kind of, retaliation against the brother
Right.
here. We're here just to help. We feel like you've been hurt a whole lot in this world right now, and if we come as prime, men come as prime, and we look for women who are prime or right, I feel like
that will help.
Less problems we have. Our children can grow up more, efficient, educated. They can see the benefit of having a healthy relationship. So, and you are what your environment is. So if the children are in good environments, then, it helps. So again, sisterhood, this is for you all.
One thing. Mm-hmm. And I want to stress this. If you are past the point of any of these things, or you think you are, don't worry about that. You have kids, grandkids, great grandkids,
Install it in them.
Neighbors. You have students. You have all kinds of people who you could teach real simple rules. Get prime, get ripe. And when we get into rule 3, if you think rule 1 and 2 are a little bit interesting, rule 3 is really interesting, people. So next week we talk about rule 3. Oh my goodness, that's when people either love me or hate me.
So rule 3, you should read it. We're gonna talk about it next week. Team, we're not gonna go through it now. You all have to read it. Again, if you have questions, you can inbox us. The inbox us is at onwardandupward21@gmail.com, or you can email it to Break the Cycle. What's your email? Do you have an email?
Oh yeah, it's
I don't want to show me your phone number again.
No. It's Break the Cycle 2003@gmail.com.
Right. Perfect. So again, I'm here with come on, Nat.
What you got, a little Nat?
Yeah. He drunk too? He's sipping on fresh apple juice. But anyway, I'm here with Mr. Egg Prince. It's an honor again, sir. Every time I sit with you, I learn something new.
Same here.
Yeah, he's definitely who he say he is. So again, Break the Cycles. Check out his website, read it, study it, ask questions. Because again, don't just let someone tell you something and you believe it. Do your homework on it. Mm-hmm. And when you do your homework on it, you're going to find out that it's correct, it's right, and you apply it to your life. And it might work. I mean, what's happening right now is a whole lot better than what's going on right now.
Here's something. People need to get off this. When you hear a message, react to the message. Don't go after the messenger. Okay? Go after the message. If it's certain parts of that message that you don't like, explain what you like or don't like. Explain what it really is from your viewpoint. Deal with the message, not the messenger.
Right.
It's like being in a schoolyard. My mommy is this. No, my mommy is that, and then you fight. Well, what is the fighting going to do? Mm-hmm. It's not going to change the way your mommy looks. Okay? Mm-hmm. My mommy looks better than your mommy or whatever. Stop acting like children. Mm-hmm. Stop going after people just because their opinion is different from yours. Mm-hmm. Go after the opinion and deal with the opinion.
Mm-hmm. Not the person.
Not the person.
I like that. So before we close out, it has been time well spent. Again, this is the Rahm Foundation. I'm Tavon Brooks. I'm here with Eric Prince.
Can they give a donation to the Rahm Foundation?
You can. We are non-for-profit. You can go on our page, therahmfoundation.com, click on donate, which is at the top of the page, and simply give whatever you like to donate to the non-for-profit. All the monies go to enhancing our family and communities. It goes to also entrepreneurship, and also goes to educating on health. You can take a look at the foundation. We are non-for-profit. We love what we do. So
Hey, that $50 that suggestion that I had, is it something that we could really start on?
yeah,
Like $50,
Yeah.
you get on the list of
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
want to be
Yeah,
introduced
yeah,
to
yeah.
new people who
Yeah.
are prime or ripe.
Yeah.
Because
We should. Yeah.
and that way, and it is real simple. You be prime or ripe, and we'll hook you up on to get to know other people. Now we can't follow up to find out if they are mass murderers or whatever.
It's a way.
Yeah.
It's a way. But I think when we come back next week, we should have a basic plan on how it functions, how it moves.
Right.
I think we still should background check the people.
Yeah.
And part of their, $50 a year should include that. Because, I don't want to send somebody out with a murderer and then I'd be looking stupid because I didn't do the background check.
Right.
You prime, but you're a prime murderer. I don't want to go through all that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to do that. So, but we're going to come back with some ideas on how to make it happen. We can do that. I like the idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some great people out there. We have some great, remember I talked about the classroom, you got 25 and only 8 of them that are enough to disturb the whole class.
Yeah.
Those other 17 are great people.
Yeah.
Great kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the idea behind that is, let's help the great people meet with the great people and give them a great plan of action to do it.
Right.
Because the plan of action that most people are going by is horrible. I know we need to cut the cotton podcast, so I want to make it short. You know what we do mostly, our current plan. I meet you, you meet me, we go out 2 or 3 times. Next thing you know, we're calling each other boo and bae. Okay. And we made that decision within no time. We take less time to select our mates than we do to pick out our clothes. And it's horrible. Then we expect that person who we picked as our boo or bae to try to hold on to us like they're our fiance.
We don't know nothing about that person.
Right, you don't know that person. You picked somebody, and plus you excluded everybody else. You picked this person for whatever reason, and you excluded everybody else for 2, 3, 4 or 5 years, and then you break up with the person. Well, that's the whole 4 or 5 years that was wasted when you could have been meeting 4 or 5 people, getting to know all of them over a couple year period, and pick the best out of them for that period of time. That makes a little bit more sense to me.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Less heartaches, less,
Our culture is horrible. So if we take some great people, prime, ripe, prime, whatever, we introduce them. We talk about going Dutch. We didn't get into that. We talked about it. We talked about it before, but we didn't. We talked about going Dutch. We talk about no commitment until certain things happen. We talk about being very much more responsible as far as intimacy is concerned. We all those things.
But you're hitting on some points, because we do got to cut it. But tell me I'm going Dutch, and this woman or this sister decided to give the goodies to the brother, and now I got to go Dutch still. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
it's gonna hurt.
You can't. You know what happens when you give up your body for favors, don't you?
Oh.
What is that called? Okay, okay, right. We need to stop right there, don't we? You give up your body for favors. What is that? And we need to stop with that behavior.
Yeah,
we need to cut it out.
Yeah.
And if we have a nation full of whoremongers, why? It's because we got a nation full of the other thing. We got to stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right. You make a good point because you gotta make a point. But anyway, everybody, again, I'm here with Eric Prince. Thank you all for tuning in. Next Sunday, 4 o'clock, same time, same location, same place. Bring your books. Definitely go over the information you received. Do your homework on it. You can have questions because, again, in order for you to get this, you have to be thorough. You got to be thorough. You got to put it into play. It don't work if you don't put it into play. Again, the Rahm Foundation. You can go online, take a look at us. Also,
Don't hate the messenger.
don't hate the messenger.
Just deal with the message
Hey.
and learn from the message,
Hey.
and we'll be all right.
Hey, don't hate the player. Hate the game.
There you go.
That's for those who don't know.
Exactly.
I had to bring it down to the hood. I mean, to the neighborhood. But anyway, read his website. Take a look at it. Again, Tavon Brooks. Thank you, sir, Mr. Egg Prince. You all have a wonderful day. Let me see if I get this. Hold on. It's still on camera now. I'm saying nothing on camera that